In 2023, Floyd made this statement.
All four of my children are adults. And I told them, listen, no more handouts. No more handouts.
However, it looks like one of his daughters either missed the point or wasn't ready to hear it because recently she went on Instagram to respond to her critics.
Why are you mad? Wouldn't you want to? I want the same thing for my son. I don't want him to ever have to.
Many people are now wondering where her money comes from. She doesn't have a public job, but she lives a flashy lifestyle, and all signs show she spends her time with rappers and reportedly has been involved in violent incidents.
Just when a girl grabbed her, the knife hit her.
Back in 2023, Floyd Mayweather made a clear announcement on the Pivot podcast. No more free handouts for his kids. He explained that Kuran, Ayana, Zion, and Jira were adults now, and he would stop giving them money unconditionally. Instead, he planned to support their education and help them start businesses, but the days of unlimited cash were over. He said he believed giving money freely was actually doing them a disservice. This wasn't shocking to anyone who knew Floyd. He had spent decades building his brand around money, earning over $1.2 billion in his career. Just the Pacquiao fight in 2015 brought in $300 million, and the McGregor fight in 2017 added $275 million. He had been generous with his kids for years. Ayana got a $5 million diamond ring for her 18th birthday, a $1 million Sweet 16 with Drake and Future performing, and a $400,000 Rolls-Royce Wraith at 14. Floyd had always said he fought so his kids could grow up rich without working the way he did. For years, money flowed freely to his children without conditions. But when Floyd drew the line, the big question became how his kids would react, especially Ayana. Her connection to her father's money had been widely discussed. By early 2026, her net worth was estimated between $1 million and $5 million, thanks to influencer deals, a brief music career and family support. She had never had a traditional job and hadn't shown any interest in one. Floyd had openly said he wanted his children to live like rich kids, free from the grind he went through. Once Floyd made it clear that the free money was ending, the internet buzzed. People speculated about how his children would cope without him as their personal ATM. Content creators fueled the conversation, and Ayana, watching it all unfold, decided to respond. By early 2026, she had had enough. She went live on social media and addressed her critics directly, telling them they had no right to comment on her finances and that they didn't understand her life.
Can't be mad because my dad made it to the point where he doesn't want his kids to work for a living. Why are you mad? Wouldn't you want to? I want the same thing for my son. I don't want him to ever have to.
You can't be upset about it. My dad set things up so his kids wouldn't have to work for a living. Why get mad? I want the same for my son. I don't want him to ever have to work either.
Why does that bother him so much? Why is that always being thrown in my face like that's such a bad thing? That's not a bad thing. Y'all are just mad because y'all parents didn't do that for y'all.
She explained that her father had set things up so his kids wouldn't have to work for a living and wondered why anyone would be bothered by that. She said critics were just upset because their own parents hadn't been able to do the same. She added that she hopes to give her son the same advantage.
Y'all are just mad because y'all parents didn't do that for y'all.
The internet was divided. Some people praised her for being upfront, saying this is what generational wealth is about. One generation works so the next doesn't have to. Others, however, called her entitled and criticized her harshly.
Y'all are just mad because y'all parents didn't do that for y'all.
In January 2026, a few weeks before her live stream, Yaya posted that she was thinking about getting a job just for fun because she was bored. That post alone caused a backlash. People suggested retail jobs and called it one of the most out-of-touch things they'd seen all year. She never actually got a job, but the post stuck in people's minds, fueling the idea that she was so detached from life outside her father's wealth that even the idea of working was a novelty. Supporters saw it differently. They said it was just an honest comment anyone with the same financial security might make. She also pushed back against rumors. One viral story claimed she had paid NBA youngboy $1.2 million to spend a week with her during a rough patch in their relationship. Yaya called it a fake story and said both she and youngboy were financially independent. Despite no evidence, the rumor spread, adding to the online image of a rich girl who supposedly couldn't manage life without someone else's money, whether her father's or her child's. At the same time, YouTube videos fueled the frenzy. Titles like shocking Floyd Mayweather's daughter blames him for losing everything after $42 million scandal, and Mayweather erupts as his daughter exposes embarrassing truth about his $500 million debt suggested Yaya had cut ties with her father, sold luxury items, distanced herself from the Mayweather name, and blamed him for her struggles. Videos claimed brands were leaving and she was selling jewelry, cars, and even a Beverly Hills condo. Millions watched as speculation built a dramatic story of family collapse. None of these claims were sourced, documented, or confirmed by Yaya herself, but the algorithms amplified them anyway. In reality, research shows no proof of a private fight between Yaya and Floyd over money. There are no verified quotes of her blaming him or cutting ties. What happened was a father announcing rules and a daughter defending her lifestyle publicly while the internet filled in the gaps with speculation. Yaya's own words tell a different story. She has repeatedly called Floyd her son's only real father figure, defended the family's wealth, and rejected claims she was spoiled, saying her father worked decades so his kids wouldn't struggle. Her mother, Melissa Brim, also defended her, calling the negative narratives about Yaya's finances and relationships delusional. Despite Floyd's history of domestic violence in the early 2000s, the family presented a united front. Any tension over the new financial rules was handled privately. They didn't let outsiders define the story. The confrontation everyone talked about didn't happen the way the internet imagined. It wasn't a daughter turning on her father, it was her standing up to the world for questioning what her father built for her. To understand why this became so big, you have to look back at Yaya's life before the money debates. Ayanna Mayweather was born on May 20, 2000, to Floyd Mayweather Jr. and entrepreneur Melissa Brim. She grew up in Las Vegas surrounded by her father's extravagant lifestyle. Supercars, stacks of cash, entourages, cameras, and post-fight parties. Homeschooled, she had the freedom to travel with her father and explore creative interests. By her late teens, she aimed for a music career, performing as Money Yaya and releasing her first single, Oh, in 2018. The song gained attention on SoundCloud, and the video drew comments from big names like Meek Mill and G Herbo. For a moment, it seemed she might build her own career separate from the Mayweather fortune. She spoke about long-term plans in music and even taking over Floyd's record label eventually.
So you recently dropped a song, the OOK remix, which now has over 20,000 plays on SoundCloud. What made you want to pursue music?
Well, I've always been interested in music since I was little.
She went on to say that growing up in her family home helped spark and nurture her passion for music from a young age.
They've always been supportive. They're supportive of anything I want to do career-wise.
That unwavering family support would soon face challenges no one could have foreseen. Yaya's early years in Las Vegas had been shaped by life close to Floyd's world. The training camps, weigh-ins, victories, and cameras documenting everything. Floyd and Melissa Brim's relationship had been complicated. Brim later revealed in a 2017 interview that she and Floyd hadn't communicated for 5 years after Yaya's birth, making the early father-daughter bond uncertain. By her teenage years, however, Floyd's involvement was consistent and visible, marked by lavish gifts, public appearances, and a promise to give his daughter a life far beyond his own upbringing in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Everything shifted with a relationship that would dominate headlines. In 2018, Yaya began dating rapper NBA YoungBoy, born Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden. From the start, their relationship was explosive, swinging between passionate reunions and bitter public breakups, entwined with the chaos of YoungBoy's personal life and relationships with multiple women. By 2019, he even released a song called Dirty Ayanna, referencing their tumultuous relationship and accusing her of slashing his car tires during a heated dispute. The situation reached a crisis on April 4, 2020. 19-year-old Yaya arrived at YoungBoy's home in the Cypress suburb of Houston, Texas, and discovered him with Leatra Jacobs, a 25-year-old woman who shared a son with the rapper. According to police reports, Yaya declared herself YoungBoy's fiancée and demanded Jacobs leave immediately. The verbal argument quickly turned physical, moving into the kitchen, where Yaya allegedly armed herself with 2 knives and stabbed Jacobs multiple times in the right arm. Jacobs needed emergency surgery but survived, with injuries described as serious but not life-threatening. Harris County Constable officers arrived around 1:30 a.m. and arrested Yaya on the spot. She was charged with felony aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and booked into Harris County Jail, later released on $30,000 bond. The media coverage was intense. Floyd Mayweather's pampered daughter, the girl who had grown up with diamond rings and birthday performances from Drake, was now facing a potential 20-year prison sentence under Texas law. Years later, body cam footage showed young boy explaining the incident to officers, recounting how the fight erupted between the two women.
It's just when a girl grabbed her, the knife hit her. That's what I keep telling him, man, like, the girl ain't doing anything wrong.
Floyd Mayweather responded 2 days after Yaya's arrest, but he didn't mention her name or address the stabbing. He didn't speak to the press. Instead, he posted an Instagram video of himself training his son Quran with the caption, "Never claim to be perfect, but I strive to be the best father possible. #DaddyDuties." The media read it as a quiet defense of his parenting. That post was all Floyd shared. No interviews, no statements, just a father boxing with his son, leaving the world to interpret it. The legal process dragged on for over 2 years, slowed by the COVID-19 pandemic and long negotiations between lawyers. In April 2022, Yaya pleaded guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, admitting she unlawfully caused bodily injury. Her attorney, Kent Schaefer, noted there were credible elements of self-defense, but the plea was a safe resolution since key witnesses, including young boy and his security team, refused to cooperate. By December 2022, she was sentenced to 6 years of deferred adjudication probation, with a felony eligible for dismissal after 2 years of clean behavior. She avoided prison and a permanent criminal record. Critics claimed this showed what wealth in a famous family could buy in the justice system. Jacobs filed a civil lawsuit in March 2022 for damages, but Yaya had few independent assets, making any judgment potentially uncollectible. Meanwhile, Yaya faced life beyond the courtroom. She gave birth to young boy's son, Kentrell Jr., in January 2021, navigating new motherhood alongside probation, public scrutiny, and a chaotic relationship with young boy. In January 2026, she posted a cryptic message accusing young boy of failing to contribute financially to their son's 5th birthday while spending on other women, calling him an absent father. She noted her father Floyd paid for the celebration, showing he remained the family's financial anchor despite changing rules. In November 2025, Yaya broke years of relative silence with a public apology on social media. She expressed remorse to Jacobs, her parents, and anyone affected by the 2020 incident. She rejected the image of being spoiled or entitled and admitted while self-defense played a role, she was sorry it happened, committing to becoming a better person for herself and her son. Weeks later, she went on a live stream asserting that her father's money was hers and no one could judge her for it. To the public it seemed contradictory, but to Yaya it wasn't. She had served her time, faced criticism, and felt entitled to move forward with her father's wealth as her foundation. What she didn't know was that foundation was under pressure. While Yaya defended her generational wealth online, Floyd faced growing financial challenges threatening the empire he built. In February 2025, he announced on Instagram that he had acquired 62 Manhattan apartment buildings for $42 million through VA properties, claiming no partners or outside financing. Social media praised him, but scrutiny quickly followed. By March 2025, Business Insider reported no ownership transfers, and the NYC Housing Partnership confirmed no sales notification. The story spun online, turning Floyd from savvy investor to alleged fraudster. YouTube videos spread sensational claims, though deeper reporting by The Real Deal later revealed the deal involved minority ownership with future options, not full purchases, and the buildings had substantial tax benefits. Floyd filed a $100 million defamation lawsuit against Business Insider, claiming racial bias and damage to his reputation. Financial strain extended beyond Manhattan headlines. In January 2026, Floyd was sued for $337,736 in unpaid rent on a luxury duplex and owed over $1 million to AJ's Jewelry for watches and chains. He had lost a $2 million lawsuit in Las Vegas over luxury vehicles, faced employee wage claims at his gym and strip club, and had IRS liens for unpaid taxes dating back to 2015. In February 2026, he filed a $340 million lawsuit against Showtime and former executive Steven Espinoza, alleging misappropriation of earnings from historic fights, including the Pacquiao bout. Showtime denied the claims. Despite criticism, Floyd defended his wealth publicly. At a 2025 New York Real Estate Forum, he said, "If that's what you call having 2 private jets, owning 100 buildings and doing what you want, then I'm pretty sure everybody is going bankrupt." Fellow boxer Teofimo Lopez vouched for Floyd, claiming he had never seen numbers like that in his life. But doubts arose from inside his circle. In February 2025, Gervonta "Tank" Davis, Floyd's former protege at Mayweather Promotions, went public on the Jay Hill podcast with explosive allegations. Davis claimed Floyd sabotaged his career, linking the betrayal to Yaya. According to Davis, Yaya had contacted him repeatedly on Snapchat, and when Floyd learned of it through others, their relationship changed irreversibly.
They were saying I was messing with his daughter off of the fact that she kept Snapchatting.
Okay.
She kept hitting me on the Snap.